Journeys is recorded at Doghouse Studios. Like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube to keep the conversation going. Remember, if you like the content, share the content. Welcome back to Journeys. Today is August 24th. It is a Tuesday, and I am Chad Jones. So, yeah, I'm quite tired today, actually. I went to bed early. I think I was in bed at 7:30 last night. I was cuddling with Liam, my son, at maybe 7. We watched an episode of DuckTales, and he's been really into DuckTales. He's so cute, but it is hard to get his attention when he's watching it. I keep poking his cheekies or, kissing his face or tickling him, and he won't give me a reaction. He's just laser focused on DuckTales. And I don't know, maybe today he's going back to school. It's really up to my wife, I guess, because he's been feeling really sick lately, and he's got a cold. He's starting to feel better, and he seems to be getting these colds every single month, essentially, from daycare. And I hear that's normal. I hear that's just his immune system working through all the germs and everything that daycare provides. So, yeah. I hope he goes back to school, because he is so smart, and he accelerates so much going to school, and he loves school. We even ask him, hey, Liam, school? And he's like, school, hat, shoes, school, hat, shoes. And that is his routine. He's so cute. He loves getting ready for school. He loves putting his shoes and his hat on and going out and seeing his friends. Actually, I have a story from a couple weeks ago. One of his little friends, Jackson, was outside, and he just wasn't feeling up to going into class. And then when Liam showed up, Liam walked right up to Jackson, and he's kind of was not really asking, but I asked the teacher, hey, what's up? And he said, oh, well, Jackson doesn't really feel like going to class. Maybe he'll go to class with Liam. And Liam is such a sweetheart that Liam grabbed my hand and kind of led me to his classroom. And then Jackson kind of followed, a little bit shy and a little bit quiet in tow. They walked up to the class. They walked up the little stairs leading up to the classroom. And right before Jackson went into class, Liam turns around and gives him a huge hug. Just the biggest hug. And it was so cute. And the teachers and me and anyone watching was like, oh, it was so cute. That was a weird dog sound I think I make for Samson. Anyways, yeah. So I'm excited for Liam to go back to daycare. I hope he can go back to daycare, but we shall see. And I've kind of left it up to Annette to kind of say whether he can go back, because she's the one watching him, and she's the one knowing whether or not he's feeling well or not. Which transitions me to my work life, because I'm not home, I'm at work, and I'm on a garbage truck. And for those of you who don't know, yes, it is smelly. Yes, it's not ideal, but hey, it pays the bills, and it gets me out of the house 12 hours a day. So, and it's been brutal, because we've been in a heat wave in Toronto, and it feels like the last 2 weeks that I've been working here, 3 weeks that I've been working here, that I've just been sweating and sticky and gross beyond just the organics and garbage that we've been doing. The sweat that comes down my back is disgusting. My shirt and my body, by 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have any more sweat left in me. Then I'll drink water, and my supervisor will come around with water, and then my body will find more sweat. It'll just turn that water straight into sweat. It's not fun. But hey, you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do. And 4 days a week where I'm just kind of written off. Last night I got home and I just didn't want to be awake. I was like, okay, I'm going to eat, I'm going to shower, and then I'm going to cuddle Liam. Like I said, we watched DuckTales, then I'm going to go to bed. And I was in bed by 7:30. And I was up at 4. So it's 4 to 7:30 is my whole day. And it's funny because even today, like, I don't think I got the best night's sleep, but I got some sleep. And up at 4 when my alarm went off, I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I forgot to do everything. I didn't pack my lunch. I didn't put my Gatorade in the freezer. I didn't get my water ready for work today. And I think that's more or less because Annette also went to bed early, so she's my support system. She's usually doing all that, and it's not her responsibility. But I mean, it helps. It helps a lot. And yeah, I had to rush to do it this morning before recording, which is unfortunate because I don't think my drinks are going to be frozen. And that kind of serves as my ice pack, so we'll see. We'll see how today plays out. And yeah, with all that said, with all that time that's being eaten up into work, I think an important part of my day is making time for the things that matter. Like I said, I got to cuddle with Liam for half an hour. We watched a show. Then after the show was done, I tried to wrangle him a bit. But as soon as the show was over, I was like, okay, that's it for DuckTales. He's like, okay, bye, Daddy. And he got right out of bed and went right over to his horse and started rocking. And I was like, oh, when you said bye, Daddy, I thought you meant I was leaving, not you were leaving. And I got to watch him. I just laid in bed and watched him kind of rock on his horse. And he was talking to me. And yeah, he's such a cutie. He's such a sweetheart. I'm so excited for him to meet his brother. And that's another thing, is his brother, 2 weeks today. 2 weeks today is the due date. 14 days, that's it. And I know they're gonna go by quickly, but still not quickly enough. So we'll see. But today's topic, I think, is just making time for what you want to make time for. Etching and sketching and, chiseling out that time in a day to have what you want to get done. Because I know a lot of you work jobs that aren't ideal for you. They're just jobs that pay bills. I know some of you are working your career, you're in a career and you're doing what you actually really like doing for a living. You don't mind going to work. You don't mind working 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, or whatever your schedule entails. But you got to remember that regardless of how hard you're working and how much time you're putting into work, there's always going to be, you got to make time for yourself. A perfect way that I make time for myself and I make time for my family is after a long day of work, my wife and I have a decompression time. So essentially what that is I will like get her to sit down with me and we'll turn off our phones and we'll just have a conversation and we'll start talking. And that conversation can be 5 minutes. That conversation can be up to 2 hours. Like, it really depends on how much we have to say to each other and how much we want to say and how much we want to express, because it changes. It changes on a day-to-day basis. And with that conversation, it's so cathartic because I could be in a good mood or a bad mood, and then my mood shifts. Like, if I'm in a good mood and then I talk to my wife about, I don't know, something that's gonna stress me out and put me in a bad mood because we're gonna fight over it, I know that it's something that's been festering underneath the surface anyways. So, like, we'll have our little argument, we'll have our little spat, and then we'll talk about the spat, and we'll talk about what happened after that. And for me, it's a very cleansing feeling, and it's something that I almost like need to do. It's like mandatory to do every couple days, especially with her, because she is my support system. She's my wife. She's my best friend. I love her very much. And I mean, it's the opposite. Sometimes I'm in a horrible mood, but then we'll have a conversation and it just lifts my spirits and I feel so much better. And making time for that, and that's kind of what I want to talk about in the second half is just making time for you, making time for your hobbies, and making time for what's really going to fulfill you in life. So I will take a little break and I'll talk to you on the other side. All right, so what am I making time for? Yeah, especially because, again, my schedule is inflexible and flexible at the same time. So what I mean by that is Monday to Thursdays, because I work 12-hour days. It's an exhausting job. If I'm just driving, my brain gets tired. If I'm out on the back of the truck, my brain and body get tired. So it's a very tiring job, and in order to figure out what I need to get done and what I need to accomplish for the day, sometimes it takes some strategy in the morning to be like, hey, no matter what happens, I have to accomplish something. I have to do something. I have to make this time. So what do I mean by that? Well, a great example is music. Well, I have an acoustic guitar. It sits in my living room, and to me, that's pretty convenient. Now, regardless of it being convenient, I don't always want to play. I don't always want to pick it up. I don't always feel like I have to shake off the rust every morning. I just want to be able to play and sound good. And ironically, the only way to play and sound good is by picking it up and shaking off the rust every day. And like I've been saying, there's an album that I really want to work on. I have people in place that I want to work with, people in place that I'm very excited to make music with, and we'll see. But the only way to make music and sound good and really convince these people that this is the right thing to do is by practicing and playing. And the only way to practice and play is by shaking off the rust. Now, it's not just playing guitar for me. It's got to be playing guitar and singing, and that's the hardest part, is because I am not a great singer. I'm sure you guys have heard Taken, or if you haven't heard Taken, I think that was released last Friday. Yeah, it would have been on Friday. So the 20th, August 20th episode has Taken in it. Shameless plug, but yeah, playing the guitar and singing is something that it takes a lot of effort. And if I don't strategically plan, like, hey, no matter what happens today, no matter how tired I am, no matter when I get home, I'm picking up the guitar, I'm playing some major chords, I'm singing some major scales, and I'm just staying in that mindset. Even if it's 10 minutes, even if it's 20 minutes, that time goes by so quickly. Perfect example is Journeys is only 20 minutes. We're already 13 minutes in, and if I haven't bored you yet, then hey, that's how long I would be playing guitar for. So it's really not a long period of time. And that's the thing, like, this is something I've made that time for. I've chiseled that time for, is the podcast. And now with the YouTube element, because every episode is going up on YouTube as a daily release, and yes, it takes a lot of effort out of me, and it does take a lot of time, but hey, it's worth it. I 100% think it's worth it. Like, you have to just kind of, like I said yesterday, believe in the process. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to really make that time for the things you want to do. You want to go to the gym. Well, going to the gym isn't just as simple as showing up anymore. Now you got to book appointments for certain gyms. There's only certain amounts of time it's open, so on, so forth. And you have to be the one to take responsibility to be like, hey, this isn't because I hate myself. This is because I love myself. And in order to really evaluate what the value of working out and going to the gym and exercise is the value that it gives you after the fact, and how much that time you've spent chiseling it out, and really making space for it is how much you're really going to enjoy it. I hope that makes sense. Sure, it makes sense. Let's say it makes sense. Another thing is eating and like making food, cooking, being healthy on that end. Like, we ate so poorly this weekend. we had like, I think we ate out every single day, if not twice a day, which is horrible because, and especially when you have a pregnant wife that doesn't want to cook, and she's not the main food proprietor maker. Let's just say she's not the main food maker in the house. Or she kind of splits the job evenly with me. And when she's just like, I'm hungry now, she wants food. Like, I can't really make instant food. Whereas eating out, it's like, yeah, it's not instant, but it's as close to. And I just feel like I didn't make that time to make food. And I didn't make the time to get groceries and plan meals. And that whole process of making that time, if I had made a plan on what we were going to eat, if I had made a plan on when we were going to eat, maybe we wouldn't have eaten out. But again, that takes time, and that means that it's time and resources out of your day that you have to make time for in order to maintain that eating habit. And it is hard when there's such access to food. So yeah, that's another thing you got to make time for. Cleaning your house, keeping your space clean. It's another thing you got to make time for. These are all things that they just sound like I'm saying like, hey, you guys should be choring and exercising and eating healthy. I am, don't get me wrong, because these are things that I'm not great at, but they're things I'm getting better at, I hope. I mean, my Journey studio doghouse down here, it fluctuates in how clean it is and how neat the cables are and how put away the microphones are. But hey, I'm trying my best. I usually keep it to a minimum, and then as soon as I'm done recording, if I have a guest over or if I have Liam in the basement playing, like I try to keep it neat. Because the doghouse studio ends up ultimately overlapping with Liam's playroom, so it does get messy, and I have to clean it because that is a sign of self-love between eating, cleaning, gym, hobbies, all of that. Another thing is making time for reading. I mean, some people have the ability, and I used to have the ability to just pick up a book and go, but now it's like, okay, I want to invest in this book. I really like this book. I want to take it and read, I don't know, 100 pages. And for me, that's like not really a lot of the book I'm reading. I'm reading a Malazan book, and the Malazan books are thick for sure. They're like, I think the one I'm reading is like 1,200 pages. So even if I were to read 100 pages a day, it'd take me 2 weeks to read. Which I don't read 100 pages a day. I maybe read like 5 pages a day sometimes. So, and that's another thing is you got to make that time every single day to read. So I think overall, I kind of have said, well, making time is important. These are the things you should make time for. But how exactly do you make that time? I think there's a lot of planning involved. I think there's a lot of willpower involved. I think writing down what you want to get done helps a lot. I think seeing it on a piece of paper and like just banging things off, like, okay, for me, here's an example of things that I would do for cleaning: dishes, litter box, vacuuming the living room, vacuuming the stairs, and let's say cleaning the kitchen table. Okay, now for me that's 4 or 5 things that need done. But I have my list, and I say, okay, well, realistically, dishes are going to take me an hour. That's a fair bit of time. Vacuuming the living room is going to take me 10 minutes maybe. Cleaning the litter box, 5 minutes. Vacuuming the stairs, maybe 15 minutes. So overall, that's like an hour and a half of work. And I can say, okay, well, where can I fit in this hour and a half of work? Is this going to happen during the week, or is it going to happen, after I'm done and on my Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? And some of these things aren't negotiable. Some of these things you have to do every single day. So it is just like, okay, as soon as I get home, before I even get changed, before I shower, I'm going to clean the litter box because it's gross, I'm gross, let's just match it up. Same thing with vacuuming, same thing with dishes. You just kind of want to you want to really make that time and plan that time, and that's how I do it. But let me know. Comment on the page down below. Let me know, how do you chisel out time for yourself? How do you make time for you to get things done, to do what you love to do, and to show really that love for yourself? But for Tuesday, August 24th, this has been Journeys. I'm Chad Jones, and I will talk to you on another time.